Hello, good morning. My name is Mariante, and very good pronunciation, thank you for that. I'm going to present to you the research that we are undertaking in relation to analyzing collaborations. How we are achieving that? We are using artificial intelligence and recommendation and dialogue types analysis, as you can see soon enough. The presentation today.
Microphone.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The presentation today will start with a brief introduction on the purpose of this research,
You'll put two.
followed by the research context and the methodology that we are applying. Afterwards, I'm going to briefly present you some results from two different studies that we have undertaken, followed by the conclusion and ideas for future development. We all know about BIM, of course, if we didn't really hear from him today. The core of BIM, and especially of BIM implementation, lies on the effective and efficient collaboration, especially with the shift towards the beginning of the project's life cycle. Why do we need that? We need that shift in order to have the potential and to lead to fewer problems during the later and more complex design steps. The architecture, engineering, and construction industry is shifting its focus in relation to projects delivery from a chain of activities and to managing efficient collaborations with innovative ways of creating, sharing, and collecting relevant information among the different professionals. The role of BIM within this process is to act as a catalyst. Construction industry has a long tradition looking to collaboration. For those who are coming from the UK, you are probably very well aware of the history of the different reports, like EGAN and the later ones, or the more recent BIM standards that talk about collaboration, how can we collaborate effectively, and so on and so forth, without necessarily giving us the specifics, how can we achieve that. Collaboration and communication are becoming central for successful construction project completion. However, collaborative design is a rather complex process, and it is composed by different phases that range from establishing a certain understanding of the design problem to formulating objectives and solutions, and selecting those that best suit constraints and preferences of the different professionals. This research is actually proposing the use of computational models of recommendation-based reasoning to represent and analyze positive and negative reasons for accepting or rejecting the collaboration standpoint. The second level of analysis is related to the dialogues, analyzing the dialogues. In that case, what we aim to achieve is an understanding of the cognitive, conceptual, and conceptual actions of the different design teams. We are all coming from the construction industry. We have professionals, we have construction professionals here today. People with experience in the construction industry. So, well, in any case, this is one of my favorite pictures. I say it very often to my students when I talk to them about collaboration. So, collaboration is typically hindered by poor incorporation of some important design concerns, like sustainability, or like later life cycles issues and some sustainability design decisions. Obstacles that appear often within collaborations are issues of education and different backgrounds among the different professionals. There are communication problems, like this one. There could be technological challenges arising from the application of BIM within different professionals, issues of compatibility with different types of software, team building and workflow, and of course, cost. And most importantly, responsibility allocation. Who takes the blame if something goes wrong? Design problem solving and design completion have been researched quite extensively to provide an analysis and understanding not only of the design processes, but most importantly, of the different types of interactions and activities that occur when people work together. Modeling now how decisions are made in a collaborative way is a rather complex task, as there are a lot of interdependent issues that lead to issues. Computational models of recommendation have the potential to make this process more transparent, allowing for a retrospective understanding of how conflicts are resolved. An argument is considered, of course, accepted if the supporting arguments are defended against attacking ones. So arguments represent essentially logical inferences. When it comes now to the dialogues within artificial intelligence, dialogue, as you can see from the slide, is a complex form of communication. A dialogue has a goal and has a sequence of questions and replies that can be modeled using a protocol. Now, what is a protocol? I usually this to be rather technical. In that case, a protocol is a set of rules that specify what differences can be exchanged during that dialogue. Recent research on argument mining, which is the automatic extraction of information structures from text, suggests that understanding the logical context facilitates the identification of arguments. We suggest that such a dialogical context applicable before construction may be establishing the relationship between the different types of dialogue from artificial intelligence theories with the analysis of communication at different levels. Consider a dialogue, an argument between two architects in this case. We have the first architect who argues that a building in the street studies should be elevated on streets in order to control humidity. At the second side, we have a second architect who argues that actually we have problems in relation to the entrance, the access to the building. In the light of new received information, the conclusions may be considered. So the second architect is attacked by a new argument, and as a result, the final argument defends the first argument. What is the process of this first level of analysis when we are applying recommendation-based reasoning? In this research, we are interested in analyzing the reasoning process without constraining creativity, of course, where new information and after illustrations developed in collaboration are continuously added to the process. For this purpose, we are using argument diagramming, a method to construct graph of boxes representing premises and conclusions of arguments, and arrows that represent the pros and cons of the different relationships between the arguments, in order to show an overview of how chain of reasoning of the professionals. This analysis makes the decision process more transparent, highlighting reasons for conflicting opinions between professionals so as to inform future decisions. When it comes down to the second level analysis, as you can see over here, we start with the design thinking theories. Design thinking theories categorize and code design actions according to three different levels. We start with the evolution level, which is focused on cognitive synchronization, ideas, class, and workflow drivers. The conceptual and conceptual level are focused on setting goals, making decisions, and brainstorming how to move our design thinking forward. Finally, we have physical actions for drawing and sketching, both with physical and digital means, and also is applicable for instructing elements. When it comes now to artificial intelligence and the different dialogue types, this is how we make the connection over here. This is what our theory suggests. We have a proposed connection between the dialogue context and the actions coding scheme, as you can see over there. I'm going to give you some further information regarding the types of dialogues. The deliberation dialogue is applicable when we have a team that engages in dialogue in order to decide how to act in collaboration. The participants aim to find an agreement on the course of actions to adopt to their preferences, expertise, or commitments. And this is related to the cognitive synchronization and the workflow drivers. The second type of dialogue, according to artificial intelligence, is the negotiation one. In that case, we have a team with limited resources that may disagree on how to allocate these resources, and the dialogue aims to resolve these conflicts. The most common version of negotiations when it comes to the construction industry is when we talk of money and time. So this is highly applicable when we have to make decision making or set up goals based on specialties with limited resources. And finally, when it comes to information seeking dialogue, third category, that case, we have participants that they have limited knowledge and they engage in a dialogue to improve their knowledge when it comes to research activities, brainstorming, people coming together to change their ideas. During this research, we analyzed a number of segments from 2 different studies that have been used to test, analyze, and examine collaborative processes, especially with the focus on feasibility and concept stages, and they involved multidisciplinary teams, as you can see further ahead. We had the participants in both studies were design professionals with experience in the industry, and they included architects, structural engineers, surveyors, and construction managers. From these 2 studies, 3 segments of discussion were identified, where the arguments were representing differences in domain knowledge, the ideas for design solutions, and differences in the goals of the project. Furthermore, there was a clear core and detailed structure in dialogues in relation to adopting its proposed idea. Eventually, the objective would be to achieve an informed agreement on the different aspects of the project. Our methodology for analyzing the collected data from the studies included 3 different phases, starting from the data extraction and transcription, which is focused on identifying the stages of collaboration that involve debate over options, as well as creating the solutions. The next phase is the argument diagramming. In that case, it consists of identifying sentences that represent premises and conclusions of an argument. The graph format employed for this phase explicitly shows the kind of relationships between these sentences and can be easily translated into a formal model of arguments. In the argument evaluation phase, we have a method that maps as a graph to an recommendation framework, and in that case, we extract the set of the arguments. The objective is to eventually develop a mathematic way a node that contains a sentence that may or may not be supported. This is an example of such an argument. We have a set of different professionals who discuss the ideas about applying windows to specific building in one of the studies. So we move from the text to the arguments. In a specific instance, we can observe that the argument graph extracted from the previous dialogue has a solution, a specific solution proposed at the end, which is analyzed with a set of arguments on the left-hand side of the graph, and finally refined with an alternative solution. The thematic evaluation is shown on top of its goals, where in this case, the label corresponds to the decision that professionals have reached, suggesting that our goals should be suitably for analyzing the decision-making process. We have included additional notes, as we said there, to make explicit the common domain knowledge and the inferences that led to the discussion on the left-hand side of the solution. These notes act as unstated premises and conclusions that are necessary to comprehend the connections between the design goals and the solutions. This is the second part of the studies, and in that case it is focused on dialogue analysis. Again, we have a text with the different professionals extracted from one of the studies, where they discuss about storage studies. And based on the design theories, in that case we have the key connotations that relate to protocol analysis, and we talk about collaboration, that the participants involved in cognitive synchronization, the circular understanding, so the exchange information. There's a workflow driver to make decisions on new features, and they have conceptual and perceptual activities in terms of finding problems and brainstorming on their new ideas. To conclude, what we observed so far is that the possibility of mastering the diversity of technical languages and shaping the multiplicity of professional viewpoints from the very beginning of the project life cycle can produce informed results that are less prone to errors and costly design iterations at more advanced design stages and construction stages. And informed and transparent collaboration and communication can promote understanding and solution finding. In addition to that, the behavioral parameter is an issue when it comes to collaboration. collaboration processes, especially among interdisciplinary professionals. And as a result, the collaborations are critically affected by issues of communication, social processes, negotiation, analysis, and reflection. Consequently, it becomes monitoring and analysis of the decision aspects through argumentation processes could provide valuable clarity when it comes to the decision-making process, especially when it comes to analyzing legal disputes and eventually supporting interdisciplinary collaborative work. The applications that we have seen so far is not only limited, of course, to the construction, but is also applicable for infrastructure and energy projects. Some ideas that we have about further expanding our research are related to exploring characteristics of the discussion that may need further formalization to improve our method of analysis, considering, for example, the introduction of argument schemes. Further research may focus on argument mining, a method to extract arguments from text that may allow us to examine collaborative design processes using a methodology in larger scale studies, and most importantly, in real-life projects. In addition to this, I have already applied for funding and have already established my own team of interdisciplinary colleagues, academics from law, from computing, and from, of course, from the construction industry to examine in further detail the specific research area. Thank you very much for your attention, and I will be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Because of time, we take 2 short